Welcome to today's Q&A. Hey, thanks you guys for joining me. We're talking pay, home time, miles, company, owner-operator opportunities, all here at Decker Truck Line. So if you're looking for a trucking job, like truck driving job, then definitely check us out. 877-233-2537. That way you can get a hold of the recruiting department. But we are here live on this beautiful Tuesday to answer your questions. So if you have any questions at all, please put them in the chat and then I will answer them as they come in. That way you've got the most up-to-date on information and details and all that good stuff on what's going on here at Decker. Sound like a plan? All right. Well, hello, Mr. Andrew. How are you? Good to see you, man. All right, so before I kick off too much information here or dive deep into the jobs, I do want to give you a heads up on shop hours coming up for Labor Day. So this coming Monday, we will be seeing, obviously, a reflection of the holiday. The shop will be closed on Monday, so heads up on that. If you have any questions about it, let us know. We'll be back in full swing coming early morning on Tuesday. So, yeah, anyways, it'll be closed on Monday. Yeah, there you have it. All right, let's talk about some of the positions. Right now, we are definitely in full swing with the flatbed division. Our Midwest flatbed division is the most popular. It is also the biggest need that we have right now because we've got quite a bit of freight in there. We're running you guys well. We're seeing quite a bit of opportunity that way. So if you are interested in Midwest flatbed, ideally, if you have experience, but if you don't have experience, we can train you. But ideally, if you have experience in flatbed, tarping and securing, we are looking for Midwest flatbed positions, or we have Midwest flatbed positions out of really, let me see if I can paint a picture here. I really just need to provide you a map. That's what I think I need to do. But Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, those are the running lanes for it. Really, if you live anywhere from St. Louis, Missouri, up over to Toledo, and then come back, include Chicago, include Milwaukee, include Minneapolis, back down to Mason City, Fort Dodge, Iowa, all that, everything in between there. We do have a home weekly Midwest flatbed opportunity. It does pay $14.50 per week. It has an $8,000 sign-on bonus on it currently, which pays out within the year. At 6 months, you get $2,000. You get another $2,000 at 9 months, and on your 1-year anniversary, you'll get the remaining $4,000. So that's currently how that sign-on bonus works for the Midwest flatbed. That is currently our only sign-on bonus at this time for the Midwest flatbed, and again, it's $14.50 per week for the minimum pay. I think average on that one is right around $15.50 for that per week for that division. So yeah, minimum is $14.50. But so the difference really is minimum is just making sure that you're available for dispatch 5 days out of the week. No load refusals, no service failures, no CSA points or preventable accidents. Getting your paperwork in on time. Those are all things that would qualify you for that minimum pay in that Midwest flatbed division. But if if your miles and your rate of pay per mile, which is going to be based on your experience level, if that exceeds that $14.50, you're going to get the better of the two. That's how that works. That is how that works. So it looks like I might have a little bit of issue with the stream. So if I do, I apologize. Looks like it's in full swing again. Okay, good deal. Anyway, so that's how that works for the minimum pay. You'll get the better of the two. Rate of pay per mile is going to depend on your experience level. So if you have, if you're brand new, we're looking at a little bit different growth, like stepstones, right? So you're at 53 cents a mile. Brand new, no experience, no driving experience, nothing like that. Then you're looking at 53 to start. However, with most of you have over 6 months of experience. If you have 6 months, a year of experience, you're looking at starting at 56 cents a mile. If you're someone who's even more experienced, which is what we are looking for, more experienced drivers, 60 cents a mile for someone who has a little over a year of experience, 10 cents per mile, no matter what rate that I'm quoting you here for mileage pay or cents per mile, 10 cents per mile is per diem. So you're not taxed on 10 cents a mile. And then again, your rate of pay is going to go up based on your experience level. Right now, our cap is at 70 cents a mile. If you have over 15 years of experience, then you'd be starting off at that 70 cents. Again, 10 cents of that's per diem. Now, if you're below the cap there, you'll be seeing a penny raise at 90 days and a penny raise annually. That's where our stepping stones are for pay. But yeah, again, it's all based on your experience level. 10 years experience, I think you're at 68 cents a mile. Off the top of my head, I think that's what it is. 10, yeah. Again, 10 cents per mile is per diem on that one. So, more miles you run, the more pay you get per mile. Making yourself available is key, because if you're maximizing your hours, making sure that you are well aware of your hours of service, we can keep getting you the loads. But yeah, our Midwest Flatbed division, that is the one to explore. 877-233-2537 if you want to get a hold of one of the recruiters. Now, other opportunities, we do have our over-the-road flatbed opportunity as well. Good Miles is also in that division. I should mention that home weekly, and this is probably assumed, but just in case it isn't, the home weekly opportunity that has the minimum pay of $14.50 a week, that one, you're usually coming home on like a Friday night or a Saturday morning, and then back out either Sunday night or early Monday morning. Usually for a Monday morning delivery. 7 a.m. delivery is pretty common. Now, that said, we can't guarantee you home on the weekends, at least not for a full 48, but at least a 34, right? So, and usually, like I said, usually you're coming on 30 or on a Friday night or Saturday morning, because flatbed freight, that's just the norm when it comes to the weekends. They're not usually running, they're not usually delivering. There are times that they do, but for the most part, most of it is Monday through Friday for deliveries, pickup and deliveries for that matter. As far as the type of freight that we're hauling, we do a lot of wallboard. We do steel beams, coil, building supplies, really. Lots of building supplies. We also do interiors, like truck wash equipment. We'll do that. We do have some coils, more so in the Midwest than our OTR division for the most part. But we also are a large portion. I need to actually get the percentage for you, because I'm not sure of what the actual percentage is. But we are a lot of drop and hooks as well. Yes, we do have some tarping and securing. I mean, each load is tarped and secured for the most part. Some of them are pre-tarped for us, but at the same, you do want to double check and make sure that the securement is Decker qualified. Yeah, up there. So we also offer securement training. Not only just offer, but when you go through our orientation, whether you go through a 5-day orientation because you're brand new, or if you're an experienced driver, you're looking at a 3-day orientation. And then following that orientation, you'll have the tarping and securement training. And that would go through different types of products that you would be tarping and securing, whether it be the building supplies, like I said, the sheetrock or wallboard, steel beams, coils. If you're doing coils and chains, that's obviously a little bit different than if you're doing steel beams or wallboard. Making sure that you've got your corners on, that the tarp is tight, versus a coil. Like I said, with the chains and stuff. So we do have on our YouTube channel here, we do have some resources available. Resources tends to be one of my favorite words. So let me be more specific on what I mean by resources. We have videos that our training department has put together, and they've recorded, most of them I think are Tanner, just walking through how to secure each load. So Tanner does our securement training in Fort Dodge. But yeah, they'll walk through what the load is, what the product is, and then how to secure it, how to tarp it if that one is indeed one of those tarped loads. So all of that is walked through on the video. He goes into detail. I mean, you get some close shots in there so you can see how it's done properly for the tarping and securement. Now, I'm trying to think of anything else for tarping and securement that might be on there. Resource wise, like I said, it's totally one of my favorite words. Might be overused in my book, but yeah, a lot of that is available to you here on our YouTube channel. We actually have quite a bit of training tools available to you here, and also I was looking for my iPad, but the TransFlow app is available on your tablet in the truck. You can put it on your phone or your tablet, or your phone or your iPad or whatever. But you can access some of the training through the TransFlow app as well within the Decker TransFlow app. So, but yes, we have that available to you. If you need more, want more information. All right. As far as some of the other positions that we have available, like I said, we have the over-the-road flatbed as well. In the over-the-road flatbed, we do require 6 months of flatbed experience. Now, if you don't have that, but you have at least a year of tractor-trailer experience, then we can train you following orientation for the tarping and securement. With orientation, it's a 3-day orientation for an experienced driver. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going through company policies and procedures. You're doing, this is everything before this tarping and securement, okay? So you're going through company policies and procedures. You'll meet several different of the management staff, getting to know your recruiter and your driver leader. You'll have your recruiter will basically introduce you to your driver leader, and you guys will I want to say reflect, but really just review a lot of the information that the recruiter had given you to make sure. It's nice to just kind of follow that conversation, making sure that yes, you guys already confirmed you're a good fit. The driver leader is going to make sure that they're running you the way that we can, the best that we can, and that it lines up with your expectations as well, right? If you've spoke to any of our recruiters, you probably already know. We do an expectation form, which I think is extremely valuable. That expectation form is not only valuable to us because we get to know more of what your expectations are, what you're looking for, what's going to be a good fit for you, but also what we can offer you and making sure that they align. If they align, it's a good fit, and then, obviously you're becoming a board. If they don't align, maybe we can't offer what you're looking for, or you can't work with what we're offering, one or the other, then you probably aren't coming aboard, and that's okay. We've got some great opportunities, but we want to make sure they're a good fit for you. And home time's important. We want to make sure we're getting you the miles and the pay. All of that's important. And of course, getting you. We provide you some quality in equipment, beautiful top of the line models. They're newer models. On average, I think it's 18 months for the average age of them. And they are fully equipped. You have APUs and refrigerators and microwaves and CB units. We have 22-inch televisions. We have, I think I said microwaves and refrigerators. I start to list things off and then kind of go into a coma there. But yeah, we have so many amenities in the truck. They are double bunk. They are double bunk trucks, so you've got room, whether you have a passenger, and we allow ages 10 and up, or if you're using that for storage. That's an option too. Use storage up there on that top bunk, unless you want to use the bottom bunk and then crawl on the way up there. But life would be a little easier if you use the top bunk for storage. But yeah, all of that's. The trucks are well equipped is what I'm getting at. We have safety features on them. It's the Lytx system. The Lytx system does include both inward and outward facing event recorders, lane departure, speed gauge, following distance. a whole safety unit. We actually have, and we'll have additional training for you available on our Lytx system so that you know more about it. And it's not a whole lot that you have to do. You know, it's not like you're managing it, but just understanding how it works, I think could be very beneficial to you. Now, we also have training following. If you're struggling with, maybe you're not given enough for following distance. Following distance is extremely important. Reaction time. And then we would review it. Our safety department would review it, the recording with you to show you where we can make improvements. So, there's a whole lot of features in the truck. The free Wi-Fi, the Epic View, which is also there's the streaming. It's 100 plus channels, HBO, Showtime, Cinemax. Yeah, all of that available, and they're smart TVs. So if you have a subscription somewhere else, you can sign in and use it with the smart TV. So, lots of amenities in the truck. Now, as far as equipment, most of our trucks are the 579 Peterbilts. We have some 589s and 389s. Those usually go assigned to more of our veteran drivers, those who've been here for a while. I'm meaning like been here for 15 plus years here at Decker. It's not uncommon for them to get a little bit more of a spec truck. And that's where those 589s and 389s come from. But 579s, those are probably our most common truck. That said, I can't promise you that you would get a 579 because even though they're over 90% of our trucks, 95 over that, I believe, because of that, we still have some Volvos and we still have some Freightliner, Cascadia Evolution. So depending on what's available when you come aboard, that could depend, on the different, on which truck you would get. But they are all very well equipped. They all have the same amenities. I shouldn't say that because the refrigerator size is a little bit different in some of the models than others. The newest Volvos have 3.2 cubic feet for the Volvos. They are some really nice big dorm fridges. And then we have 1.8 in the Peterbilts. Yeah, so they're definitely larger refrigerators in some. Most of them have the larger one anymore. We've kind of moved away from the smaller refrigerator, just not as convenient. But yeah, for the most part, everything is the same. We have a few Webasto heaters. Most of them are S-Bar. But as far as the Epic View, the streaming, the Wi-Fi, drive-wise and microwaves and TVs and Geotap. Those are all the same. Those are all really the same. I just saw somebody must have hit it. Mitesh, I did not see your comment. I see here that you had written one, but I don't see what it was. So if you still have your question, feel free to ask, and I'll be quiet long enough to answer that. All right. We do have solar panels on the trucks as well. We've installed. We had installed a lot of those on the Freightliners and some of the other trucks. It prolongs the life of those solar panels help prolong the life of the APU unit, just especially with the starting it and everything. But they're diesel units, but they do prolong the life of it. Yeah. So anyways, the equipment is very well equipped. It has a lot of amenities. It's newer model, obviously very well maintained by our shops. They take great care of it. So, and as for years, the newest model, obviously we've got the newest models, but we have 2021 and newer for our equipment. think, like I said, I think the average age is right around 18 months for those. So yeah. If you have more questions on it, feel free to either reach out here in the chat or feel free to contact our recruiting department. It's 877-233-2537 or 877-433-2537. Okay, so we talked a lot about flatbed. We also have refrigerated. So if you're looking for a refrigerated opportunity, we have a home weekly out of the Ohio, Indiana area. We have a home weekly there. We have our OTR division, which is about 3 weeks out. It's between 2 to 3 weeks out at a time, 4 or 5 days home at a time. It runs 48 states. Most of it is going to be out west in that division, but not all of it. And then we have our 11 days out and 3 days home, that option as well. That one's basically 48 states as well, even though the majority in that division is going to run pretty much within the Midwest and East, so east of Denver for the most part. Like I said, it could be 48 states. You could be running out to Portland, Oregon, or Hermiston, Oregon, or more likely Washington. But we do have, a lot in the Midwest. Very busy, obviously, with our main terminal out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. We've got Des Moines, Iowa. So those are our main locations with the shops and everything. So, yeah, 877-433-2537. If you have more questions, get a hold of our recruiters. They'll give you the details. But yeah, so we have our over-the-road refrigerated. We have our home weekly option as well for refrigerated. And then we have, like I said, a home weekly and OTR option for flatbed also. Okay, so I kind of talked a little bit about the orientation process, but even before you start here at Decker, with the orientation, you got to get pre-approved, right? You got to make sure that you meet our qualifications, so no major moving violations, no DOT recordable accidents, nothing like that in the last 3 years. If you have a ticket, say a 5 over speed ticket or something, we can work with that as long as you don't have more than 2 in the last 12 months. Or excuse me, let me see, you don't have more than 1 in the last 12 months or more than 2 in the last 3 years. There we go. That's correct. Same with the accidents or incidents. If you had a turning incident or, something, not a DOT recordable accident, those we can't work with within a 3-year period. But if you had an incident within the last 12 months or 2 within the last 3 years, we can move forward with that. But again, they're definitely not considered major moving violations because the major moving violations have to be at least 3 years old. And of course, preventable. If you were in an accident where someone else hit you and they were completely at fault, then, that's not held against you. So that's fine. Orientation starts before you get to Fort Dodge, Iowa. You'll have both your drug tests and your physical. So drug test is both the hair follicle and the urinalysis. We'll make those arrangements for you, make life a little bit easier. And then we'll take care of your physical while you're there as well. Now, if your physical is good for another 6 months, a year, then we might not have to redo it. We'll just need you to send on over to the recruiter. We'll have you send over the long form. And we'll get that reviewed and make sure that we're signed off, we're not missing anything, and then we'll just have you do your drug tests, both the hair follicle and the urinalysis, before getting to Fort Dodge. We'll make those arrangements for you. You don't have to jump through hoops. We'll just try and, if you have to do all 3 of them, the physical and the drug test, then we'll try and get it all done at once instead of multiple trips. We just try to make it as easy as possible, more as convenient as possible for you out there. Now, we also have an online orientation, which is available online. Either, I guess that makes sense, right? But you can either access it through your phone or a computer, an iPad, but you log in, we'll give you all the login information, and it's a number of modules followed by questions. So each module has its set of questions before you move on to the next module. Once you've completed that, you're really ready for orientation. By that point, you probably should already have, or we will probably already have your transportation for you. So whether you're getting I almost said bus. We do not do bus. I don't know why I almost said bus, but we will either get you a rental car or a flight. The flight is what I was going for. So we will make those arrangements for you. You'll get to decide, which one's more convenient. Fort Dodge, usually a rental car is the most convenient, but again, it all depends on where you're coming from. If you're coming from Washington State, maybe a flight is better for you. And then we'll get you a rental car from Des Moines or wherever you're flying into. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. It's a case-by-case basis. We do have a repayment agreement that you would sign before you come into orientation, and that will include your transportation. So it'll be all listed out there, so you know what it would be ahead of time. That repayment agreement, that is for the first 6 months. If you were to leave within the first 6 months of coming to Decker, then you could be responsible for a portion of that. But at 6 months, we waive it clean. On the way to the 6 months, we knock $100 off each month until, like I said, until you get the 6 month mark. But, sorry. I'm just coughing right into the microphone now. But yeah, that is there, so you're aware of it. As far as hotel rooms, they're solo rooms. We are not shacking you up with anybody. They're solo rooms for you. And usually you'll have some meal tickets as well to go grab something to eat while you're, especially like Sunday night, you have a meal ticket. But we take care of your hotel and your meals while you're in orientation. Sorry, I've got one more cough. I can feel it. Well, that's okay. Anyways, so yeah, that'll get you going, and then you're usually dispatched out usually Thursday morning. And the reason we do that is so that you can go through the truck with the maintenance department and make sure everything is in order. If you have any questions, we can go ahead and address that. Because we want to make sure that you know how to run the APU and the TV and just random, like all the amenities there's still a learning curve. You still got to know how to do that. Sorry, it was right there. So, yeah, if you have more questions, please reach out to us at 877-233-2537. Now we are looking at some more opportunities for our shop. We did have a couple of people reach out, and I was trying to think of location-wise, but in the Des Moines area, we are looking for a more permanent as well, to add on all the amenities that we have in our Fort Dodge, so because we've got a lot of amenities in our Fort Dodge shop, we want to make sure that we have those same ones for you guys available. So if you have more questions, let us know, 877-433-2537. And again, reach out to the recruiting department and find out, if you're looking for an owner-operator position or if you're looking for a company position, we've got both. We are definitely in full swing, especially in that Midwest Flatbed division. So explore some opportunities there based off of where you live. And you might actually have a number of options. If you live in the Milwaukee area, you're going to have a whole lot more options than if you live, maybe even Dallas, Texas, although Dallas is a pretty good area for us. But, all right. Well, I've kept you long enough, but if you have more questions, please reach out to me or reach out to us at 877-233-2537, and we can go further and answer your questions. In the meantime, we will visit later. We'll see you probably next Tuesday here on our YouTube, next Monday at 4 p.m. Central on our Facebook, and then, of course, our pop-up lives throughout the week on our TikTok channel. So we'll talk to you soon.